Just in case you're wondering, I have run lawnmowers off the front of this lift before, several times, and I'm not the only one who's done it. You'd think we'd have put a stop on the thing by now, at least clamping a board or something down on there to keep that from happening, but nah, maybe later. We'll just keep doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. But for now, we've got work to do, so I'm not worried with that. What I thought was going to be a simple job of just welding a bracket onto the discharge chute coming off the side turned out to be, well, a lot more. Looky there. See, the lawnmower blade is bent. There's a piece of rope wrapped around the spindle. The deck is busted right here. We're going to have to weld that up. So on this weld, I'm going to put a bevel in it. Just going to turn the wheel sideways. It's actually a grinding rock. And just put a nice deep bevel in there to splice these together. But then I'm going to cut a little piece of flat bar to splice it all together with right after that. And normally you grind down your weld after you do it, similar to sheetrock, how you put the mud into the groove and then once it dries you sand it down and it's flat. It's something similar to that. But I'm not going to grind it down. I'm just going to bend this piece of flat bar right around it. I'm also using the grinding rock as a cutoff wheel. All I need to do is just score it a little bit and then I just snap it off with some pliers. All I'm doing right now is just kind of making me some marks so I will know where to grind. I don't want to grind a bunch of paint off. I just want to get right there where I need to make my weld. If I would just take 5 seconds and grab a Phillips head screwdriver, I could let that cord down another few inches to keep from having to jump to grab it. And as you see right here, the temperature's pushing 100 degrees. So I will be welding in flip-flops and shorts. I made this little thing for the finer details in life. I can tell I've worked on this lawnmower before. It's got anti-seize on the bolt. Now these blades are worn beyond sharpening, but I am going to straighten this just so you can see how I do it. I have straightened several lawnmower blades, and you can get by doing that, you know, till the next week comes by and you go buy you another set. But this is how I do it. I just take my time, just eyeball it, and I use my table as a flat edge to determine if the blade is straight or not. And then sometimes I get out my big hammer and I lay it on the anvil of the vise and give it a couple of smacks, and then bend on it a little bit more. Whatever it takes. Some of these guys' lawnmowers that we work on, they cut grass for a living, so I try to get them back out there as quick as possible because, well, that's how they make their money. So right here what I'm doing is making sure the deck and the spindles aren't bent or warped or anything. So I learned this little trick by watching Riley's Small Engines. My boy T-Bone showed me this. He lines the blades up on the cutting corners, and if they're right next to each other, well, nothing's bent. They're perfectly straight. That's a very good tip from old T-Bone. So after I put the belt back on, here comes the cover. At this point, I didn't know it was broke. I figured it out once I laid it on here and realized all the holes are busted out. Now I could have put the bolts back in there with just a big washer or something to hold them down, but I thought, nah, let's go ahead and do something a little bit better than that. Let's just make new holes. Okay, I had to grab another washer. I tried sawing that washer that I just marked, but it was made out of some kind of hardened steel. That hacksaw wasn't going to touch it. And I wasn't about to put a cutoff wheel on my grinder or nothing like that. So I just found another washer. And after I cut it, naturally it rolls off the table into the trash. And like always, I'm going to spray paint my welds to prevent rust. I'll go around and hit everything else I've welded also. Alright, now right here, putting this back together, I seen the rivets were tore out of the little discharge chute. So I don't have any rivets that size. So I'm just going to drill them out and put in a little 1/4 bolts with some nylock nuts to keep them from vibrating loose. Alright, well here goes nothing. This is the first time I've turned the blades on since I fixed everything, and so far so good. Everything's cutting level. I don't hear no banging or clanging. The blades ain't hitting anything. Grass looks flat and even. I'm satisfied with it. So like always, thank you so very much for watching here at the house.